Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. Well, I had thought about, should I actually start guitar lessons on YouTube? Because the success rate is very low. For people who try to learn off videos of any sort, let alone YouTube. And it is true. So, hey, it's just the way it is. Statistically, more people do fail than they do succeed learning off of YouTube and other video sources. However, that being said, we are also in a worldwide global craziness, and it's hard to get to teachers, right? And there's nothing better than a real teacher. And so I figured, well, you know what? I'm not going to go into the beginner grade stuff too much, but I do want to help you people out who are having blocks, okay? I get into blocks all the time, no differently. I've been playing for way too long, my entire life. Brief history, I started playing guitar when I was a little wee kid. I can't remember my exact age. My parents bought me guitars, and they always bought me guitars as I grew and so on. And I developed a really keen interest in piano as well, and many other instruments. However, guitar is my strongest point of all my instruments that I play, and I love it. And I can't even tell you why, and that's for a whole other day. But today I wanted to show you some stuff that can help you get out of your ruts, and also a way of teaching yourself new chords without even having to look at a chord chart. That's cool. You can look at the chord chart later, figure out what you did, and then that'll tell you the exact chord. So I just want to make things easy for you guys. Now, let's assume right now that you know a couple of these blues riffs, all right? One of the first ones I was taught kind of goes like this. Your first finger starts out on the D string on the 2nd fret, and your third finger has to make it to the 4th fret of the same string. You just pluck the 2 strings. And you go to the next 2 down. So you go here, you drop 1. Right? And then you'll end up top here on the A string of the 2nd fret. So you've got that basic pattern. Now you can work with this pattern any way you like, but this is the first pattern of this that I was taught doing it this way. Now the second pattern I taught was a little bit more difficult, and we're going to do something like this. So you're still going to do this part, right? And then you're going to take your 2nd finger and your 3rd finger up onto the A string and go to the 3rd and 4th fret. And you're going to play it exactly the same way as you did the first one. Okay, same amount of beats per and switch and so on. And of course your end is whatever you want it to be. Which is a nice thing about this. You can put the ending any way you want it to go. Now the third one I learned goes like this. And it follows the same pattern of the same amount of time on each 2 strings. And you're going to do that, the same thing, okay? Now that does get rather boring after a while. I know, I had to do it for like 6 months. And I had to technically master this. Basically play it as perfectly as my teacher would allow perfection to go to let me away with it, okay? Because he was kind of an OCD perfectionist in that sense. So I had to learn to play it basically flawlessly, okay? It's a great exercise too, playing these particular riffs or whatever you want to call them, because it helps you to stretch your fingers. Also, as a beginner guitar player, you don't want to hurt your fingers because that's a big turn off. And that's why I don't suggest anybody to start learning chords right away, because it's extremely hard to do, and it's hard on the fingers, and it's actually a painful experience. You know, which is where you get the whole no pain, no gain from. If it ain't hurting, you're not doing it right or something, right? A million different people have different excuses for it. But people just want to jump in and start playing songs right away. And technically, these can be used as songs, right? So you're playing songs. You're just not doing chords. But within these three styles are hidden chord formations, so that when you start to do something like a C, it's easier, right? Because this forces curvature as well, so you can get proper curvature habits going right away. Because without the right curvature, you end up with something like that, okay? Proper curvature, big difference, right? Where does this go into creativity, Kev? What are you talking about, though? Okay, I want to teach you guys to be creative, to expand upon yourselves. Even a beginner can actually pull this off. Just takes determination, practice, patience. Okay, so if you take your first little riff here, what you want to do is not that. You want to use the part of the second riff, right? And you want to do it this way. Do the next string and so on, right? And then your bottom area. So basically you're shortcutting a lot of this stuff, and you're coming up with a whole new tune based on stuff you already know how to do, right? So then if you want to really dive into this and get hyperactive, so let's say we've got that going. So let's do something like this. A lot of you probably haven't done string bending yet. No big deal. It's not that hard to do. So I'm going to teach you a real easy string bend. Hold and pull. Pull downward. Okay, so there's something like that. Now, when you feel really up to it and really anxious to do something mentally crazy with this stuff, then you can get into working on your picking. And hand dampening is also another thing that is very handy, especially with blues stuff, but it's also handy even with regular strumming. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back against the bridge, because we want to dampen these strings. And as we pick, we want to kind of bob on and off really fast as we're picking. And we're going to do a down, up kind of thing. I'm lifting my first finger a little bit. So I give a little bit of time for an open note to be played non-fretted, okay? that's a little something you can do with that blues thing. Now, if you're more of an intermediate to even an advanced player having ruts, take this same exercise and use that. But then you can start adding in stuff like power chords, okay? And you know about power chords. These are 3-note chords, or you can use the 2-note versions. I prefer the 3 because it's a more rounded sound anyways, and it's also a lot easier and more controllable. So, we're going to take something like this. When you're doing this down-up stuff with the hand dampening, just take it slow. It's more important to be slow and accurate than it is to be fast and messy, okay? You build speed on all of this as you go. No matter what you're playing on the guitar, always start things off slow, because slow means you need accuracy too. It's kind of like when you do a D chord, okay? It's 3 strings only, but because the above string is already a D open, you can use that D to round out the chord, and it also adds a little bit better texture to the chord, a little bit more volume as well, you know. And you can do the same hand dampening technique, because once you learned how to do this on a short scale, so short movement, things under control. And one of the things that's also very important with guitar playing is you should be using more of your wrist and less of your arm. Now, we see people swinging their arms like crazy, and that's okay. Maybe that's part of the song, part of the style, and that's completely fine, right? But in general playing, you're actually using more of your wrist than your arm. So you don't want to be swinging your arm like a baseball bat, because it's going to be very messy. Okay, you need to learn control, and control means small, short movements, and get that wrist moving too. And it's kind of a rotating kind of thing like this, right? It looks like it's up and down, but it's a slight twist to it, right? Small twist. So like I said, if you know some power chords, you can do something like this. Start out with short to get to power chords first, you know, so just between your B and your C, right? Very important to tap your foot too when you're playing. Helps you keep timing. And if you got bare feet on your floor like I do right now, it kind of adds kind of like a tap tap, like a little drum thing. So hopefully this sort of thing helps you out. I will have more videos for you guys too. We're going to get into another video about exploring different chords as well, and finding chords quick and easy just like that. Okay, and we're going to go through that on the next video, of course. This one is just the beginning stages of getting you out of a rut as a guitar player. So it doesn't matter if you're beginner, intermediate, advanced player, makes no difference. You know, we all get into these ruts, and this is something that I use to get out of ruts. One of the techniques, anyways, because I love playing blues stuff. I really love that stuff. but I also like to mix a little bit of rock in there, and with the power chords. You can do this on acoustic guitar or electric, doesn't matter. If you love distortion too on an electric guitar, it makes it sound also really super cool. We'll also get into string bending down the road as well. So basically, these are some lessons for you guys, to help you out a little further along the way. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. See ya.